Welcome to DeFi 101. I'm Josh Cross from DeFi Now, and first I want to thank Amadeo for the introduction and for his help making this course to make sure that all of the technical aspects are accurate. I took the original DeFi 101 course that he made when it was released in 2020, and it was part of what got me so interested in DeFi and what helped me understand it. However, a lot has changed since then, and we have a very different DeFi ecosystem today. But before we jump into the course, I want to give a brief introduction to myself and my crypto story from when I first learned about Bitcoin to where I am today with my year-and-a-half-old DeFi YouTube channel. I first heard about Bitcoin back in 2015 when I was living in China. Now, I was interested in the idea, so I watched two documentaries on it: The Rise and Rise of Bitcoin and Bitcoin, the End of Money as We Know It, both of which are well worth the watch. Now, I really liked the idea of it, but I had zero economics background, and I never invested in anything, so it just kind of seemed like this unreachable kind of thing. And everyone I talked to just said it was super risky and volatile, whatever that meant. Then in late 2016, I talked about buying some Bitcoin, or this new thing called Ethereum, with a couple of my roommates. I think Bitcoin was around $700 at the time, and Ethereum was around $8, but I never ended up pulling the trigger on those. Since I was living and working in China, though, I would send money back to the US through PayPal, and I started to get pretty sick of them taking 8 to 12% of my money every time, so I tried to find another way to do it. In my search, Bitcoin came up again, and this time, being faced with one of the many drawbacks of the existing financial system, I took it a lot more seriously. So I started consuming as much information on it as possible. Got myself a Coinbase account, I watched all kinds of YouTube videos on it, including many that I probably should have avoided, and I decided to put all of my savings into Bitcoin and Ethereum. And this is in December of 2017. So yeah, I did what most people do when they get into crypto. I bought near the top, and then I diversified into a bunch of altcoins that went to zero. However, as an idealist living in an autocratic country and understanding some of the shortcomings of legacy finance, I was still sold on the idea, so even when I lost everything, I never actually capitulated. I just kept learning, and I was watching videos by Andreas Antonopoulos and Ivan on Tech and Ready Set Crypto and a bunch of others. And at the time, there weren't really any good courses to learn the fundamentals until this academy was created. I joined the Ivan on Tech Academy in 2018, shortly after it was created. I took the beginner courses and the blockchain business course a few times to fully grasp it. And then I started on Ethereum programming. And I got through the JavaScript programming and started learning C++ before I really just kind of decided I don't really like programming. Once I understood the fundamentals, though, it really opened up the world of blockchain, and I got much better at understanding and valuing specific projects. The crypto industry can be a bit of an echo chamber, and while it's great to know the possibilities it enables, it's just as important to understand the limitations, and that's one of the most useful lessons that I got from the Academy. I will say, I didn't participate in the forum very much, and I really wish that I had. I've seen a lot of places for people to discuss crypto, and the majority of them are terrible sources of information, and they're just filled with shilling and noise and garbage. In the Academy, the focus is on learning and understanding rather than shilling and tribalism. I didn't talk to other people in the industry very much back then, but I do all the time now, and I can tell you it's far better to be involved and start building relationships early on. It will get you a lot further. The last thing that I want to briefly cover is the story of my YouTube channel, DeFi Now. I mentioned earlier that even after I lost all my savings in 2018, I was still sold on the idea, and I spent a lot of time and energy trying to convince my friends and family to check it out as well. I was mostly unsuccessful in that. But after moving back to the US in 2019 and learning more and more about DeFi, I knew that DeFi was going to become a major part of the upcoming cycle, so that's what I focused on. These were still the early days of DeFi. It was right before DeFi summer hit, but the potential was there. So in early 2020, while quarantining and working at a job that sucked, I knew I had to do something to go full-time crypto, so I combined my experience writing and teaching with the knowledge that I gained over the past few years. So I released my first video on April 25th. As I made more videos, I focused mainly on educational content, and I try to keep that as a key direction of my channel. Over time, I explored making different kinds of videos, and now I mainly focus on short explainers, interviews, and live streams covering industry news and projects and whatever else. It's been one hell of a journey, and I can almost guarantee it never would have happened if I hadn't joined the Academy. Now, I feel very grateful and fortunate that the Academy reached out to me to make this course, and I'm so excited to finally share it with you. Now, in the next segment, we'll do an overview of the course, what you can expect, and how to get the most out of it.